Alright. Alright, Shalom. First of all, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now this lesson is going to be based on the relentless storms hitting the West. A major pattern change for Christmas week. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says, repeat, atmospheric rivers continue to point relentless streams of rain and gusty wind toward the west coast. The current system over the northwest has diminished, but it is still raining in Washington and Northern California, and more significant precipitation is on the way later this weekend. Another flood watch is in effect for parts of western Washington and western Oregon till Saturday afternoon for lingering flooding and some spotty rain that could add to it. The ground remains saturated in these areas and streams remain elevated. This will lower the threshold for additional flooding in the days ahead. The next atmospheric river will focus primarily on Northern California this time, beginning later Saturday and continuing through Sunday. A flood watch is up for much of Northern California, including Redding and Sacramento. Some areas could get up to 4 to 6 plus inches. The extreme Pacific Northwest won't see as much rain, but won't be completely spared, with a widespread 1 to 2 inches likely. Mountain snow in the Cascades will also come in the order of feet. On Christmas Eve, Wednesday, another coastal storm will set its sights on the west coast, but this time Southern California will bear the brunt. Places like Los Angeles and San Diego are facing the threat of over 4 inches of rain, as well as gusty winds. The Sierra Nevada mountains are also looking at 2 to 4 feet of snow, which would render many mountain passes impassable. Meanwhile, the Northeast has quieted down after being battered by rain and wind on Friday. This made life difficult for those beginning to travel for the holidays. Many spots saw wind gusts greater than 60 miles per hour, knocking down trees and power lines as well as causing flight delays. In the storm's wake, chilly but quieter weather has moved in. Winds have also eased, making for improved travel conditions. Much of the holiday week will be well above average temperature-wise across the country, with dry and quiet conditions apart from the West Coast. Dozens of cities are facing record-high temperatures across the center of the country. This list includes St. Louis, Kansas City, Tulsa, Amarillo, Sioux Falls, Amarillo, and Albuquerque. Yeah, so just more storms of the Lord being poured upon these wicked cities. Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And the Lord has been sending a lot of storms upon these cities, a lot of rain, which results in flooding, a lot of strong winds that cause trees to fall over onto the roads, snap power lines, which results in power outages. Even some snowstorms that make certain roads, certain mountain roads impassable. Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which has a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And, with this rain, this rain, it causes a lot of flooding. It causes rivers and streams to overflow, especially when it comes to poor drainage areas. The rain just builds. The water just builds, and next thing you know, people's homes are getting flooded. People's cars are getting flooded. People have to wait for for rescuers to come and get them. It becomes very dangerous. Especially if there's power lines down in the flooded waters. Now the water is all electrified, so people can't even swim it to, try to swim to safety, because if they try to swim, they can get electrocuted, or they can just flat out drown. We are definitely in some dangerous times. Psalms 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. And when you look up the definition of tempest, it means a violent windy storm, usually in the form of hurricanes or tornadoes. But 60 plus mile an hour winds is still pretty serious. That's still enough to snap power lines and cause trees to fall over onto people's homes, onto people's cars, into the road. 60 plus mile an hour winds is still enough to do some damage. Psalms 83:14. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. Verse 15. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. And that is exactly what the Heavenly Father is doing. He's bringing these storms and tempests to these different countries, these different cities, these different towns, these different neighborhoods, causing flooding, power outages, and destruction. And in some cases, death, depending on how serious the storm is. Baruch 4:32. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. And the Lord is daily pouring out his wrath upon these wicked cities of America and these wicked cities of the rest of these countries. The Lord is not playing. We are living in the last days, and we are also living in the days of vengeance. The days of the Heavenly Father Yahweh's vengeance and wrath and anger and fury being poured out upon the earth. And there will be more blizzards. There will be more earthquakes and tsunamis and tornadoes and hurricanes and tropical storms and wildfires and volcano eruptions and hailstorms and lightning storms and shootings and stabbings and plane crashes and helicopter crashes and car crashes and train derailments, and overall in more power outages, more food shortages, just overall more chaos. Because this is the Lord's punishment upon, in particular, the wicked people that dwell in this world, whether they be men, women, or children. Because like it says in Romans 2 and 11, there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. If you're wicked, you're going to be judged accordingly, in whatever way the Heavenly Father sees fit. And I know I say it often, but it's true that things are only going to continue to get worse. There is no escaping it. There is no stopping it. These are the things that the Heavenly Father has set into motion, and they will come to pass. And those who are meant to get caught up in these judgments and be destroyed, that's just how the Heavenly Father set it up. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.